welcome to another installment of the Persistent Rumor. If we look exasperated, it's because there was all sorts of fucking technical problems trying to get this thing going.
Mildly moist.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway, my name is Chocolate Yoddah, spelled Yoddah. It's right there under me. Just read it. Stop being a jerk. Anyway, and with me as always, and this time live and in person. It's always live, but this is in person.
We're touching.
It's my heterosexual life mate, Chancleta.
Heterosexual is a stretch, but it's okay. Hi! How's everybody doing?
Oh, man. I am happy to say that the problems that we had setting this up are first world problems.
Indeed.
And I can live with that.
Yeah, indeed. It just caused a little perspiration. I'm totally fine with that. Yeah. It's just, getting underneath the office space here and getting some mics working. But we're doing good. We're doing good. Welcome to America.
Well, some mics is a stretch. We got one mic working.
One mic working.
We have two. We have everything that two mics need to work.
Yeah.
Only one is working.
Yeah. So, it's what it is. We're gonna keep trying here, and just the important part is that we're here.
Yes.
We're delivering you the goods.
Right.
And that's what we wanted to do, and just in person, and we got this, we got this.
I didn't know that's the way, when you started with we're here, I thought it was going to go a totally different direction, but all right.
Nope, that's it. Sometimes I'm just very cut and dry.
We're here, we're not queer, or maybe one of us is, but...
Hey,
get used to it.
That's right.
Anyway, all right. So anyway, what's on your mind, chump?
Man, let me tell you about the craziness. I want to teach you guys a little something here. So here's what I saw on Instagram. Somebody put a story about how the Taliban now has what 85% of the countries around the world don't have, and that's Black Hawk helicopters. And it's like, sure,
So wait, so I have to stop you for a moment.
Yeah.
And I want to know, who exactly are you imitating?
I don't know. It was just like, I just wanted to go real, kind of like, just very retro. I just wanted to go like very 60s. Yeah, like very 60s, 70s kind of, I don't know. So like, maybe.
Right, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so that's fair enough.
I don't think I had anybody in mind really, but maybe it spark something in there. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right. Either way, moving on. So this thing came about, and then I'm thinking about, I get it, but like, there's only like a dozen countries that have Black Hawk helicopters. Number one, and like when you think about it, it's like they took out the avionics of the Black Hawk helicopters. And like, we knew that there was going to be a whole bunch of shit left over. A lot of the stuff that they left over was stuff that they got for the Afghan army, who decided, hey, you're not paying us anymore, we're not going to keep fighting. All right, look, whatever, it is what it is. So the Taliban took, or will take ownership of whatever's left over, you know what I'm saying? Whether they sell it or whether they, they use it, whatever. But it's like, if somebody left you a Black Hawk helicopter in your front lawn, what are you gonna do with it? Because are you gonna get on it and fly it? You're not gonna do that. That's number one. What do you think?
I would definitely fly it.
I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not gonna be a trial and error kind of situation. Like, you get one shot at it.
It'll be an extremely short flight because I'll crash immediately.
Yeah. So, and that's the whole thing. It's like, this is how like misinformation gets spread out. Like, it's like you can take this part of a story here and just like fluff it up to a point where it's like, oh, look at that. We gave them like weapons of mass destruction and all kinds of whatever the people are worried about. It's like the Taliban has whatever we left to the Afghan army. Like, we knew that shit going forward. Like, we knew that was a possibility, and we knew that the exit plan, we shouldn't have been there to begin with, right?
So here's my question now.
Yeah.
Because you can't saw the sawdust. We were there.
Yeah.
Right? America was there.
Yeah.
So why are people suddenly, A, concerned with something that they've never been concerned about before, and B, think that they know what they're talking about?
I mean, you know, we're hearing people talk about like the coronavirus like they're like immunology experts, like they know what the they're talking about, like, you know, the masks don't work, and you know, all of this
same
kind of
people
stuff.
that couldn't help their 12-year-olds with their homework.
Yeah. So you know, it just goes on and on. Like there's all this bullshit about, you know, everything they want, and the people that are really just going off the hinges here are the ones who were just like, oh, I hated Biden and it should have been Trump, and it's like, this was Trump's plan. This is Trump's plan that Biden's carrying out. And
here's a big bit of information. It's probably oxymoronic. Here's a big load of information that they leave out of this conversation when they reference Dump. He's the one that negotiated the release of 5,000 prisoners, many of whom have already been reported to be in the group that's taking over the country. Mm-hmm. So another great example of the master negotiator, Donnie Dump.
Right. Yeah. And so, you know, this is how all of these falsehoods get spread out and they get onto fucking social media, and people just start harping on it and using memes and all kinds of sound bites from Fox and all of these other people, because Fox, ONN, and Newsmax and all of these they know how to make a headline work. Like, I'll give them that. They know how to make a headline work. They know how to use buzzwords to throw something off balance so that it could you know, appease their listeners or their viewers. You know, and this is how it works, man. And we just have to be privy to that. It's like, you know, this happens all the time. And I'm looking at it, and like, it took me 2 seconds to realize, what the fuck is this dude talking about, man? You know what I mean? Like, you're really making this shit sound like, you know, like it's a disaster. Like, look, this didn't go off well. It didn't. I'll be the first to tell you. And it was never going to.
By the way, you used the word privy wrong, but you know, that's okay.
Probably.
You meant aware.
Aware. Yeah.
So. This is one of those things where stupid people say stupid things in a stupid way about a subject that they are too stupid to be commenting on. That's honestly what it is. Is the same people that, again, couldn't figure out how to help little Johnny with their algebra homework are now expert immunologists.
Yeah, no, you know, it's ridiculous.
I saw a badge on Facebook the other day, and I wound up downloading it and blacking out the image of the person so that people could see the badge, and it said, you know, I trust my immune system, and something about vaccinations, right? And it's like, you trust your immune system. So here's what that tells me right away. You're stupid.
Yeah.
I know you're stupid, because a smart person would never say, I'm not getting a vaccination because I trust my immune system.
Right.
Because a smart person would recognize how stupid that is.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, by the way, it's very strange where you're here right next to me, but I'm still looking at you.
We don't know how to work this out yet. You know, it's fine. It's you know, it's the details. You know, this is the first time we're doing this live. Well, maybe the second or whatever.
It's the second. We never aired the first one.
But yeah,
it was too horrendous.
I hear you. But now here we are, and it's just like, I don't really know what to do. If I look at you, it's weird, and then you're not looking at me, and it's kind of like, f off, you know, whatever.
And if we lock eyes, we might kiss.
Yeah, so, you know, there's always that danger. You know, heterosexual life, mate. Get out of here. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it's in a way, what's on my mind is tangential to what we're talking about. I think it's part of the same continuum. You can tell me whether you agree or not, but it's this whole right-wing incongruity, right? I mean, you could call it cognitive dissonance. You could call it stupidity, which I do a lot. You could call it authoritarian thinking, which I also do a lot. But I believe the main thing about it is that it's incongruous. It's completely disjointed. It's paradoxical. It's constantly contradicting itself. And so that leads me to Ronald Reagan. Right? This is one of the biggest mysteries that I've ever encountered. On the one hand, we know for a fact that Reagan is just considered an icon in the Republican Party. Like, many of them say he's the best president that America has ever had. Of course, you can't ask them why they think that, because they melt down. I actually asked someone that question once. It was this dude. It was three of us on a boat, and you know, you have a lot of time. You have 3 hours on the water. You're gonna talk to people, and it was kind of a networking thing. And this guy was waxing poetic about Ronald Reagan, and I was like, okay, so what made him such a good president? And the only thing that he could say was the speeches. Oh, the city on the hill, and da. Okay, so what about his policies? What about what he actually accomplished while he was in office? It was almost like I saw oil leaking out of his head. This guy just seized up.
Yeah.
You know, it just seized up. And so what I realized is that it's all rhetoric, you know, to begin with. But this particular rhetoric I find fascinating because Republicans stand for certain things, right? They talk about small government, which, by the way, George Bush increased the size of the government by 41% while he was in office. Yeah. Which is not an insignificant increase. I mean, imagine if you suddenly became 41% bigger than you are now, and I'm using the universal you. Any one of us becomes 41%. It would heavier.
Go like from that to this.
Yeah. It would be crazy, right? Yeah. So, you know, increasing the government by 41% significant. People still think he's some kind of fucking hero because he was bold enough to illegally start a 20-year war. Right. Yeah. And you know, not wanting to rest on his laurels, he went and started a second illegal war. Yeah. Right after that. I hear you. But anyway, back to Reagan. So, when you look at his record, and you look at the things he actually did while he was in office, it is completely antithetical to everything that Republicans say they're about, right? Because they hate immigrants, and he gave amnesty to around 3 million immigrants, right? They hate gun control. He enacted gun control. They hate taxes. He raised taxes in 7 of the 8 years that he was in office. The first year he cut taxes, but because that was the wrong thing to do, it increased the deficit by 300%. Yes. Because it's like, you can't on one hand say, I want services, and then on the other hand say, I don't want to pay taxes. Right. Those two things collide with each other. Exactly. They're paradoxical. You can't, you know, it's one of those things where you can't have two opposite things be equally true. Yeah. Right? It's Occam's razor and that kind of shit, you know. So that's what we're dealing with. And so between immigration and taxes and negotiating with terrorists, let's not forget that, right? Which America's supposedly not into, right? Which of course they are. But all of these things he did are firmly against everything that Republicans hold near and dear. The only thing he didn't do was like try to legalize more abortions. Right. Yeah. You know, then he would have hit, you know, a grand slam. Yeah. You know, but so my question is, how stupid are these people that their icon as a political party is a man who did everything against what they say they stand for? Right. And I don't understand this idea. Like, in my lifetime, I have not seen, like, because I've heard so many Republicans and conservatives harp about, like, how, oh, we're fiscally conservative. And I'm like, I don't see it. I haven't seen it. Like, my first Republican president that I was, I guess, aware of, was Ronald Reagan.
and not like and then it was George W. Bush or whatever the senior, the CIA director, the first guy, his VP,
the actual war hero.
Yeah. Then George W. the Dumber.
George the Dumber. That's what I like to call him.
George the Dumber. Yeah. And then it was fucking dump.
Well, it was Clinton.
Clinton. Yeah, but Clinton was a Republican.
Republican, yeah. That's right. We had.
And so. Yeah.
And so break. We had an 8-year break.
There was like a raid. There was Treasury raids. There was increase in fucking immigrants. There was increase in fucking.
But what do you mean increase in immigrants?
Well, with Ronald Reagan, he gave amnesty to 3 million. Yeah. So we saw everything that Republicans say that they're against done by them.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, so I don't get it. What are you holding on to? What are the values that Republicans and conservatives are holding on to that they see? Listen, and I'm not talking about the Republicans of America, like the citizens.
Voters. I'm talking about lawmakers.
I'm talking about lawmakers. What do the legislators that are running as Republicans that are claiming that they're conservatives, what are they exhibiting that you agree with? I don't get it. I don't see it. Like I hear the common folk, right? That says that he's Republican and he's all about conservative family values, all of these things.
But in polls, there's a beautiful like Venn diagram where most Republicans and Democrats, as far as voters and citizens, they overlap tremendously.
Absolutely.
In what they want. They all believe in marriage equality. They all believe in gender equality. They believe drugs should be legal. They believe that we don't need guns the way we did, so there should be gun control. Like, average American citizens agree on the most important issues of the day.
Yeah. And
the lawmakers, who ironically are referred to as representatives, are not representing the people that they say they're representing, because the only people that the lawmakers are representing really are business owners. Like, and I'm talking about elite, big, huge business owners.
The pharmaceutical companies.
Exactly.
You go on
exactly. The insurance companies, the credit card companies. Let's not forget, Joe Biden was behind that legislation to make it impossible for you to declare bankruptcy if you had credit card debt.
I hear these commercials all the time about it's like insurance fraud is the crime you pay for, and I'm thinking to myself, fuck that. I'm not ratting nobody out. If you want to do insurance fraud, I'm not gonna do insurance crime. I'm gonna do insurance fraud. That's me. That's my thing. But if somebody wants to do that,
say it again. You're gonna what?
There's commercials.
No. Just say that last part.
The last part is that I'm not gonna commit insurance fraud.
Okay.
Right? I don't intend to do it. But I'm certainly not ratting nobody out about it. If that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. Because as far as I'm concerned, insurance is a fraud. Yeah. Like, especially health insurance. Like I can give a little bit.
All insurance is a fraud as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But like I can see a little bit of, like, okay, there's some redeeming qualities about auto insurance. Maybe it helps me out occasionally. It gives you a little peace of mind. But
again, the things that you criticize health insurance for, you can apply to auto insurance, because the concept is the same.
Yeah.
Why do we need these middlemen?
Absolutely.
Why not, when you turn, I don't know, 18 or 21, or you can start driving at 17. So when you start driving at 17, what would happen if every human being 17 and older paid $20 a month into a fund, a universal fund,
like an escrow kind
of,
yeah,
that was for insurance. It was for car insurance. It was for, then when you hit, I don't know, 25 or something, you pay another $20 that goes into a home insurance fund and a health insurance fund. Like, because, these things exist. Like, we have FICA.
Right.
And FICA's terribly flawed in that it cuts off at $100,000 of your income.
Right.
So people that are making $100,000 are effectively paying a higher percentage rate than someone making $10 million.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Absolutely.
So despite that, these mechanisms exist where you can create a fund that's a universal fund. It's like, call it like Medicaid if you want to, whatever it is, but these universal funds that people get to tap into when they need it. Mm-hmm. And it's government run. And the cynical people that say the government can't do anything, well, okay, then try landing the airplane yourself.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Try paving the roads yourself. Try bringing electricity into your home yourself and water into your home yourself and disposing of garbage and all these other things. And putting out fires and policing. These are all socialist functions. They're a pool that is meant for all of society. And it would be easy, I think, to do these things. And it's something like Anthony Robbins said, it's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness. The rules are the way they are because it benefits the elites of the world. Right. It benefits the business owners. It benefits the people that are running government that are owned by the business owners. Right. Right? George Carlin spoke extensively on this, and as you can see on my monitor, it says, "What would George Carlin do?" Because I'm a big fan of Carlin. So the point is that the need for insurance is, as you say, it's fraudulent. It's a scam. There is no reason why these third parties are in between you and an incident with your car, or you and an incident with your health, or you and an incident with your home. No reason. There's no reason why these insurance company CEOs are billionaires. Right. While you get into an accident and they refuse to pay, that guy's buying another yacht with your money. Right. It's horse.
That's right. And that's the thing. It's just these outrageous profits that these fucking insurance companies are taking in. And it's like, listen, I get that you have to run and everybody has to get paid, but it's like, we're talking about exorbitant fucking profits and all this money that, we got to make our shareholders happy. And it's like, why is this even a public company? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even understand why shareholders have to even be mentioned with insurance. It's like, this is the kind of shit that just like, kind of makes it look like this is legitimized crime. Yeah. It's what it is. It's racketeering at a government level. Yeah. And so, like and if you ask people, if you go around and asking people, right? And I don't care what side of the fence you're in. If you're a Democrat, Republican, conservative, central, moderate, whatever it is that you are.
Green Party.
Thank you. You're just gonna be like, okay, you know what? I agree with that. Most people that I talk to are in the same, we all hate it. So it's like, why are we fighting each other then? Yeah. Why the fuck are we getting into arguments with each other?
That's how it's set up.
It's supposed to be us against them.
It's set up. The whole Hatfield McCoy paradigm is, and this was covered, I think, to perfection in the book 1984 by George Orwell. Yeah. If you haven't read the book, or if you haven't read it in a long time, maybe you read it in high school or something, I would highly encourage anyone to read that book again. I read it for the first time during the Bush administration because so many people kept referencing it, and I was like, man, I've heard about this book literally my whole life and never read it, and now people are referencing it like weekly. Yeah. Not a week went by without someone comparing the Bush administration to the Orwellian nightmare in 1984, and I wound up watching the film, which was it was okay, but books are always better, right? Right. In the book, I'm the director and the casting agent and all that other stuff, right? So when I read the book, the first thing that I thought was, this could have been written yesterday. Right? Yeah. And that was in 2003 that I read that book. If you read the book now in 2021, right, or if you're looking at this in the future, 3084,
we have backups of this.
You will still say this could have been written yesterday. Yeah. And the reason why that's true is because what Orwell unearthed in his book, or pointed out in his book, highlighted in his book, was the human condition, especially when you mix the human condition with governments.
Yeah.
Right? So when you look at the role of government, and you look at the role of people, and you look at the role of corporations, like one thing he said in the book, which was just chilling. He said, wars are not meant to be won. They're meant to be fought.
Right.
Because the war effort makes people rich.
Right.
It's no coincidence that immediately after the Federal Reserve was formed, which is not a government agency,
right. It's
called the Federal Reserve. Makes it sound like it's a government agency. It is not. It is private industries. I believe 12 banks, the J.P. Morgans of the world, the Rockefellers of the world, all of those elites. They're the ones that own the collective symposium, if you will, of banks that make up the Federal Reserve. And that was written into law by Woodrow Wilson in 1913. And in 1914, America gets into World War I.
Yeah.
All right. And I have not heard one historian ever, and I look at history a lot. I read history. There's a history podcast. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History is fucking amazing. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he sits and talks for 4 hours, but it's amazing. If you're ever on a long drive and you want to learn about everything, like how many nose hairs Hitler had, like Dan Carlin will fucking know. Okay, and it's captivating. I took a drive to Pittsburgh, and it was an 8-hour drive. So I got to listen to a couple of episodes that he did on World War I. Absolutely fascinating. But here's the thing. Nobody can really tell you, give you a solid reason why America was involved in World War I.
Yeah.
So my deductive reasoning, for whatever good it's worth, says, yeah, of course we were. In 1914, J.P. Morgan, John Pierpont Morgan, made $200 million as a member of the Federal Reserve.
Wow.
1914.
That's
over $2 billion.
You can buy a whole pack of Oreos for 2 cents. That's
you
what
buy a family for a quarter.
No, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's how much for a whole subway station in New York City?
Yeah.
$50.
I mean, and again, to put it in perspective, the year I was born, 1964, the average income for an American citizen was $5,000 a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure I spend more than that on meals throughout the year, right?
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm a baller. What can you do?
Yeah. You know how it is. Yeah. Fucking Whole Foods. You know how it is, baby.
I'll make that meal a large meal.
Yeah. You should see us ordering Chinese food. There's I'm embarrassed of how many fortune cookies arrive in my order, because
you're ordering for one and you get 3.
and you get 3, 4 cookies, you know what I'm saying? Because
I've never gotten 4. I have gotten 2 a lot, and once in a while I get 3.
Yeah, no,
I'm a fat. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, no, it's what it is. And, and that's the issue. They definitely seem like, okay, we're rationing out. We're going to give you just enough cookies for however many people we think that this feeds. Right? And it's it's never one. It's never one. It's 2 and up. And I'm like, okay, well, clearly, it's oh, yeah. And it's a combo platter and a soda and shit. And it's and then you'd be like, you know what? There's some dumplings. Well, somebody else is going to eat those dumplings. You can't eat a whole combo platter in the dumplings. So, just make sure we get them 2, maybe 3. I don't know, whatever the case is. It's always embarrassing, all right? And that's the point. And if we both order, it's a dozen cookies.
Yeah. So, there's a question that I've gotten many times over the years.
Yeah.
And I'll answer it publicly now. The question is, how is it that as a vegetarian, almost vegan, I'm this close to being vegan, how are you overweight? And, technically I'm morbidly obese, right? And, just look at the camera. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So here's the answer.
Persistence and tenacity.
Dedication. I like persistence and tenacity too.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah.
To be a fat vegetarian.
That's it.
I mean, I don't eat junk food, and I don't drink soda. I don't even drink orange juice.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah. The whole fucking fat's here.
Yeah, here.
So
ridiculous.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I mean, we work hard at being the size that we are.
You know what we work hard at as well? We work hard on our comfort.
Oh.
We're yeah.
I am slavishly devoted to my comfort, and
yeah.
I say that with no hint of irony or embarrassment or self-consciousness.
Nope.
I actually love that about myself.
Yeah.
I will buy anything that I can afford that I think will contribute to my comfort. Yeah. Anything.
Yeah.
And if I don't save money because of it, I don't care. Because if the persistent rumor is true and we all die, then to me, there's no difference between dying in a shitty bed and dying in a comfortable bed.
Right. Then that's it.
So I'm okay that I live in a place that has all the charm of a crack house. I'm okay with the fact that I drive a cheap car. It is a new car. You were there when I bought it.
Yeah.
Helping me navigate the horrors of an auto dealership. I don't wear designer clothes. I don't have jewelry. Any jewelry that I have, like the watch that I wear for business, was given to me. My wallet was a gift from you from your first wedding. I don't have fancy shit. Yeah. But my place is littered.
Fancy ass computer though.
Yeah, my place is littered. But the computer is a good example of what I'm talking about, because it was taking too long to render these videos on my old computer. Not that I had anywhere to go or anything to do. I just wanted to render the videos faster, so I had you build an excellent computer, and it's much, much faster now. And that was just psychological comfort. That wasn't even physical comfort, because again, there really technically is no difference between taking a half hour to render a video and taking 3 hours to render a video in terms on the impact that it has on my life. Mm-hmm. It didn't affect anything. I just didn't like that.
Yeah. No, I hear you. It's the same here. And, I work with computers, for a living. So it's like once a computer started to get to a situation where it's like, oh, man, why is this taking too long to load? And it's like, fuck it, wipe, reload, get a new hard drive, whatever. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. Like, so, that's adding to my comfort. I don't want to wait for clicks. I'm doing too many clicks in a day, and I'm going through so many screens that it's like once there's too much lag, it's like I can't deal with it. I need something that processes faster.
Right.
I don't know why I didn't take a breath between those words, but that's what it is sometimes.
I'm glad you're okay. I was so concerned that I sat.
I get verklempt when I talk about PCs. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So if anyone's still listening, no, it's true. I'm just a big believer in the idea that life will always bring hardships of varying kinds. If you're lucky, they're all first world problems. If you're not lucky, your house washes you away in a flood.
Yeah.
Shit happens, right? And nobody escapes that. So I want the minutia of my life to be as comfortable and high quality as I can afford to make it. Yeah. And the more money I make, I guarantee you that's what I'll spend it on. If it means I can buy better pillows, if it means I can buy better ergonomic chairs or whatever, that's what I'm going to spend my money on. I have several different massage tools next to my couch because I sit on a massage pad. I have a foot bath that also massages you. I have a massage wand. I have a massage cane. I've got all sorts of shit just to make myself feel better because I'm just a big believer in that. Life is hard enough, man. I want to make my shit as soft and comfortable as possible.
Can I borrow that wand?
No,
Okay.
definitely.
Sorry. Moving on. We'll dub that out.
I'm keeping that.
So yeah, man. But like, man. It's. I think it's important. I think it's like one of those things that I learned from you is just that, you know what I mean. Like your comfort is everything. Like it's part of loving yourself. It's part of getting to know yourself and just being like, the things that make you happy.
Right.
That adds to your comfort.
Which brings us to another subject: online dating.
Please do tell.
Like, women sometimes get frustrated with me because I won't pay tolls or cross bridges and tunnels. Go through tunnels. You don't cross tunnels. That was dumb. Sorry.
Yeah, you go through tunnels.
I apologize, everybody. I'm all.
Okay.
But
You don't have to. They understood you.
I won't travel usually more than a half hour to get to somebody. So my search area is relatively small. And I'm a big believer in that because these things add up, right? It's just like, imagine your commute. Imagine if you went from, let's say, a half hour commute to an hour commute. So on the face of it, you go, well, that doesn't mean anything. But what that means is that you've now lost an hour in your day, right? So there's an impact. Whether you're okay with the impact, that's up to you. But there is an impact, right? So I factor all of these things in. So if I see a hot chick, it was once in a while I go outside of my pre-mapped out search and I'll just look at random women and I'll see a hot chick and, then I find out, oh, she's in Brooklyn. That's not happening because that's 2 bridges I got to cross to get to you.
Yeah.
So that's out of the question.
Yeah. And perpetual traffic. Like it's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's certain parts of Brooklyn where I can get to in an hour, but what I got to pay tolls. I got to fight traffic just to hang out with someone who's ultimately probably not going to be that much of a big deal. No. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she'll be fine. But it's not like she's going to be spectacular.
But what's the retort you usually get? It's like, you wouldn't go and pay tolls for
once.
love.
Yeah, that happened once. This woman hit on me from the Bronx. And I just said, oh, thank you. I appreciate the attention, but you're outside of my dating radius. And she was like, what does that mean? And I said, I don't pay tolls to date. And she said, you wouldn't pay tolls for love? And I said, yes, but I won't pay tolls to date.
Yeah.
Right? And the beauty of it is, if I don't pay tolls to date, I probably won't have to pay tolls for love.
Yeah, there you go.
I fall in love very easily anyway. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but I just these are the things where it's the little things eventually can become big things. Because when I date someone, I generally like to see them often, and so if I'm seeing you 3, 4, 5 times a week, and I'm paying tolls every time, it's like I'm slowly going broke. Just to date a woman, I'm sorry, none of you are worth it. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you if you don't like it.
Up top. It's my man. But that's what it is. Like, it's because it's like, you have, you set up a boundary. Like you say, okay, this is what I won't do. This is what, I don't feel like doing, whatever. And then when you put it up and somebody says, why wouldn't you do that? I'd do that. Who gives a shit what you would do? It's like, so this is what I want to do. And it's like, right. It's like, and that's what it is. It's like, most of the time I hear women saying things like, hey, I just want a guy to be honest. It's like, okay, well, here's me being honest. I get it. But
what they mean by that, if we can digress for a moment, is they don't want to be lied to.
Right.
They don't want honesty. I've never met a woman in my life that wanted honesty, because here's honesty. Here's an example of honesty. Do I look fat in this? No, you look fat in everything. That's honesty.
Cold-blooded.
But that's honest, right? If that's what's really going on, that's honest. They don't want that. Nobody wants that.
Right.
Okay? So I don't want honesty. I don't need to say don't lie to me because I'm going to know if you're lying to me anyway. If it's an important lie, I'm going to know.
Yeah.
I'm a walking lie detector. I will know if you're lying to me.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm not worried about it. I don't put out this list. Like, we were going through a profile earlier on one of the popular dating sites. And this woman wrote reams. I'm talking about several paragraphs of what she was afraid of.
Yeah.
Now, I know that she doesn't think that that's what she was doing, but that's what she was doing. And subsequently, and completely unintentionally, if I wanted to lie to her, she now has given me all the ways to do it.
Right.
Right? So ladies, please don't list your grievances on your dating profile. Don't list your pet peeves. Don't list what you don't want, because then a guy that wants to fuck you will pretend to be all the things that you say you want, or pretend not to be the things that you say you don't want.
That's right.
Okay? It's a bad move, and it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I get it. I had a sales manager in 1985 that said something that stays with me to this day. He said, imagine if you were ticklish right here, right? You had a spot right there where, like, if someone touched it, you just laughed uncontrollably.
Yeah. And
everyone that passed you touched you in that spot and you laughed. Like, eventually that would be maddening.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't want to just be laughing all day long uncontrollably because people were touching the spot that made you laugh like that, right?
Yeah.
So what would you do? You'd start walking around like this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You would preemptively protect yourself against someone touching that spot. That's what human beings do.
Right.
Okay? And it's a mistake. It's living through your fears.
Right.
Right? Of course, that's an exaggerated example, but that is the psychological reality of most people. And online, so many women are putting out their list of grievances as a way to say, this is what I'm afraid of. Yeah. I don't want you touching on this spot. Like what did I say when someone wrote, I am truly blessed by God.
Oh, I forgot what you said about that.
Oh, I said she loves to.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I am abundantly blessed by God.
I'm abundantly blessed. That was the exact quote. Yes, thank you. And the reason I said that, and even though it was funny, it wasn't untrue.
Yeah.
Okay. My experience with women is that the ones that start off their profile by referencing their religious or spiritual condition or affiliation or belief are the ones that are doing that as a way to protect themselves from their own libido. Mm-hmm. They're trying to say, I really, really love sex, so I'm going to throw this smoke screen out to make you think that that's what I'm not about. But if you put the tumblers into the right place, you'll find out that I really love sex, and I always find out.
I mean,
and I've put that to the test many, many times.
Yeah.
And I've always been right.
We've shared stories. It happens a lot. It's fine.
Yeah.
But just understand that this is what you're doing.
I've cracked the code. I've cracked the code. I can't say that I know what it's like to be a woman, because there's no way that would be true. But I can say that I think that I have a very, very profound understanding of women, which is why I have an easy time dating, is because I know what to avoid. I know how to screen people, and I'm not desperate. So I get to the people I need to get to, and we get to what we need to get to very quickly.
Maybe if I hold you really tight and touch your back, you'll know what it is to be a woman. I don't know. Anyway.
We could do a whole hour on how wrong that was to say. You come off real on that, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's out of love. It's for you.
Of course.
You know, that's it.
Course.
That wasn't directed at the women,
right?
Folk, you know,
specifically me.
Just you. Yeah. You know, I feel like
still rapey, but very focused.
Yes. Yeah. That's it. You know, just kind of like, you know, like yeah. That's what it is.
Oh, I know that I'm going to wake up laughing at this.
You're a martial artist. I figure. You know what I mean. We don't need any safe words. You know, you could. You know what I mean? You could armbar me if it comes out of that, you know?
Oh, that's too funny.
All right.
That is too funny. Wow. I know I'm going to wake up laughing at that tomorrow. I just know it.
I'm looking forward to the text message about
it. Throughout the day tomorrow, I will be laughing at that.
All right.
Oh, that is delightful. Anyway, so... So we covered Reagan, we covered dating. I don't know what else. Whatever.
Well, we finished off with back, so that was good.
Yeah,
that's
a strong finish.
That's a strong finish. That's it. Only fireworks would be more. Yeah, Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, yeah. No, not in this house.
No, I hear you. I don't know. I'm
no. You know. I'm more of an America f*** you kind of guy.
America.
Not f*** you. Yeah, f*** you. Because, you know, I recognize that there is potential in America, but there's way too much unrealized potential.
Yes.
So I won't stand for the Star Spangled Banner, which, by the way, just for the record, is a song about murdering slaves.
Yes.
And if you responded with, oh, this guy's a fucking asshole, that's because you haven't read the lyrics.
Yes.
And you don't hear the whole song when it's played publicly. They play either the first verse or the first two verses. That's it. The part about murdering slaves becomes very evident in the third verse, or the stanza, they call it, right? It's 4 stanzas. You only hear the first 1 or 2 at sporting events and other events where they sing that. But that's what the song is about. Mm-hmm. The song, Land of the Free, is referring to white people.
Yes.
There's a part about, you know, murdering slaves. And it's not ambiguous. It's not that I had to interpret. It's very, very obvious. Please go to either I think the Maryland Historical Society has the actual parchment that Francis Scott Key wrote the lyrics on, with, of course, the lyrics. And I know the Smithsonian has the lyrics as well. Not that you can't find them elsewhere, but those are the, you know, the institutes of record for American history. So go there, read the lyrics, and then tell me I'm wrong. You won't be able to. It's a song about murdering slaves. So no, I will not stand for that song. I will not put my hand over my heart. I will not recite the Pledge of Allegiance, because f*** you.
That's it, baby.
You know, we're going to devote some part of the podcast one day to the ridiculously long list of ways that America has legally subjugated black and brown people. Okay?
I'm for it.
In the law, codified and permanent, are many statutes that are specific to black people and not conceptually in name.
Yeah.
You know, just for a few, like the GI Bill, the FHA loans. Go ahead and dig through that legislation. You will see what I'm talking about. So, and there's lots of things like that throughout American history, and these things are still on the books. The 13th Amendment is still on the books and law and active. So, you know, that's where it says. It opens up by saying, hey, This amendment is about how slavery is illegal unless the person's incarcerated, then you can make them your slave.
Right.
That's what the 13th Amendment is, not the freeing of the slaves, as so many dumb people say, or ignorant. I won't call you dumb. You might not know. It's just ignorance. But no, that's what the Emancipation Proclamation was about.
Right.
The 13th Amendment was a loophole. It was a way to get around the fact that black and brown people were now free. It was, and that's when black codes came up, and that's when, the whole Jim Crow era came up. It was about like, you couldn't be a black person out at night. That was illegal. So again, it's too much to cover in the time we have left for this podcast, but one day we will talk about that at length, because I want to finally and permanently answer the question, what are you so upset about? Because, once in a while, arrogant white folks will, what are black people so upset about? Well, I've got that answer for you, and you'll never have to answer it again.
That's what we mean about privilege. The fact that you ask that question because you are completely unaware of what's happening,
right.
That is the privilege we're talking about. It's not a financial privilege. It's not it doesn't mean that you didn't have to work. It doesn't mean that you're not a hard worker. It doesn't mean any of those things. It just means that you have the privilege of
not knowing
and not needing to know.
Yes. Right, and I give the example of being pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
I've never met a white person ever, when I asked them, what goes through your mind when you get pulled over, that said, I was afraid for my life. Yeah. Not once.
Yeah.
And the fact that if I rarely get pulled over at this point, but let's say I'm, cruising down the highway a little bit faster than the law permits, and someone pulls me over, I have to, as a matter of fact and as a matter of reality, wonder if this is going to be the last, or these are going to be the last few moments of my life. Right. I have to think that.
Yeah.
And it's not unreasonable for me to think that. And if you think it is, it's probably because you're white and you've never had to deal with that.
That's right.
And congratulations to you, but that's not the reality for black and brown people in America, or people of color, as some people prefer. But anyway, that's again, we'll cover that ad nauseum in another episode.
I want to sing up.
Damn it. I'm gonna count as a word. So in 5 words, you completely dismantle everything that I spent 3 minutes building up, and I love you for that. And if you think this doesn't work across the board, if you're listening and that Chancleta is a goofy dude, no, there have been times when I have been in a heightened emotional state, very upset about something, and I'll rant for 5, maybe even 10 minutes about some shit. And this motherfucker does the same thing at the end of it.
4 or 5 words.
And I fucking love it. That is a skill. It's a talent. It's brilliant. I think it's amazing. Like, I've laughed every time you've done it because it's just fucking amazing.
It's a good combination of absurdity and, it's the timing of it, too.
It's impeccable comedic timing.
Yeah.
There is an alacrity to it that is fucking blistering. Yeah. There's just, that was about the longest you ever took to do it, what you just did now. Usually it's like, I stopped talking and bam.
Yeah, no. Well, see that again. Like for me, it was just like that dead silence that was going on, and it was like, okay, so what's next? And then it's like, I want to sing off. Anyway, why are we just putting up a comedy clinic here?
Yeah.
All right, folks. Listen, it's been real cool. We're gonna put some links in the description. Maybe I don't know what he does. But watch the shows. It's fucking dope. We're probably gonna do this more often here. And it's like, hey, my arms look really fucking hairy with the right lighting. Like, look at that. Look at this.
Yes, for anyone that's been watching the past episodes, this is the first time that Chancleta has been in good light.
Yes.
So this is what he looks like in all his beautiful splendor.
That's it.
But yeah, so this has been another episode of The Persistent Rumor. It's been so much fun. Thank you for attempting to have us have two mics. Hopefully we'll figure it out. But until next time, hey, peace, love, and granola.
Shout out now.